What's up?
What up?
What's up, Rob? What's going on? What's your take?
What crimes did Trump commit with his documents?
Retention. It's 18 USC 1924. Retention of national security documents. There's another one he committed, which sharing of national security secrets.
So you don't think that Biden fell under the same rules?
No, because in Donald Trump's case, there's very clear intent, and in Joe Biden's case, there's not.
And what was Joe Biden's intent?
What was Joe Biden's? No, there was no intent for him to retain.
But he had them.
He did have them, yeah.
So to have them, there has to be intent. What was the intent with Trump?
The intent was that he was told multiple times for months on end, it's actually over a year, to turn in specific documents that were enumerated in documents that were given to him. You have these documents outstanding that have to be turned over to us, turn them in. He said he didn't have them, lied about having them, lied to his lawyer, asked his lawyer if he could delete the evidence, enlisted people to delete evidence, and tried to cover up the fact that he had them for a year and a half before they inevitably kicked his door in. That illustrates intent. He also showed the documents he said he didn't have off to people that did not have the classification to see them. So that also indicates intent, that he willfully retained them.
But do you think that Biden had a classification to have documents that he shouldn't have had?
So Joe Biden had the classification. That's not the question. The question is,
No. Joe Biden didn't. Joe Biden wasn't president. He didn't have classification to have.
Yes, he did.
Documents after being a vice president.
So nobody has the ability to have documents after you're done with your office. No, they're president nor vice president. Perfect. Both of them have the ability to have them in their home. In Joe Biden's instance, there were some classified documents mixed in with his personal documents. And the question was, did he know that he had them, or were they put there by a staffer?
Okay. So we at least agree that both parties were wrong.
So, yeah, Joe Biden...
So we meet eye to eye on that.
So Joe Biden definitely was negligent in his treatment of documents and definitely cavalier in them. There's no question about that. The question is, does it rise to criminality, where he knew that he had the documents and he willfully retained them? And the answer is there is no evidence that he knew they had them, or that he knew he had them. And he worked with investigators to make sure that they recovered all documents, as opposed to Donald Trump and what Donald Trump did.
But Donald Trump's were secure.
No,
Biden's
they
were not.
They actually weren't. They were in a closet for chairs in a public part of Mar-a-Lago, as well as a extra bathroom in a public part of Mar-a-Lago. And
I don't think that's accurate.
I have the photos.
Sure.
You want to see the photos? Okay, yeah, the indictment. Okay.
I mean, the indictment's not really. I want a factual source.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's their pictures.
Biden came out and said they were next to his Corvette, but we do meet eye to eye that both of them have committed crimes in having documents that they were not supposed to. Yes or no?
No. Joe Biden's okay. Joe Biden's didn't rise to criminality. No. You have to have intent to take and intent to retain. So this is one of the spots that Donald Trump had them on. It was on a stage at a public part of Mar-a-Lago. This was another one, which was a bathroom.
Hang on. We're on Google right now looking at photos, but what are these sources?
Yeah, these are published in the actual indictment. These are the same ones from the indictment.
No, you just Googled photos. These are not sources.
These are the same ones that are in the indictments.
Okay, but the photos that you're showing are not in the indictment.
Yes, these are the ones from the indictment.
Yeah, but they're not factually shown in the indictment. You just Googled photos of
these. Listen, I'm going to be very concise. These are the photos that they're publishing are the ones that were published in the indictments. That's the reason they're on Google.
No. You're missing my point. You can Google something and pull up a photo, but you're not showing the actual source.
The source is the indictment.
Okay, so pull up the indictment. Let's look at it. Where the photos are listed. Sure. Let's do it. But let's not go to images. Let's pull up a factual source and not just Google images where you can just find anything.
It's the same. The reason I'm pulling it up is because it was easily accessible. It's the same photos that are in the indictment.
Well, that's fine. But like, if we're gonna have a debate back and forth, then let's let's find factual stuff. Let's not just look up Google.
That is factual stuff. It's the same ones published in the indictment. There you go.
Sure. Perfect. Now we're talking.
So.
Okay, but thank you for doing that. But you have not shown the difference between Trump and Biden having stuff in their personal home. And let's not forget that Trump was a sitting president and Biden was a vice president. So I don't know why he has classified stuff in his home next to his Corvette.
So he has classified stuff in his home because they're both bound by the same executive order.
Okay. And your claim was that Biden's staffers did it?
No. The claim is that there is no knowledge of how the documents actually got there, whether they were mixed in when they were leaving. Nobody knows. But you have to be able to show intent that this person not only took documents, but intended to retain them. And in Trump's instance, that's very easy because he was told to turn over these documents, refused to, and then showed the documents that he said he didn't have off to people that wasn't supposed to see them. That's easy, right? In Biden's instance, how do you establish that he knew he had them as opposed to a staffer put them in a box or he just outright forgot about them? How do you show that he intended to retain these documents?
Biden doesn't even know where he's at right now, son.
So then that would mean it would be impossible to illustrate intent then, right?
And I think that was the outcome of the investigation, right?
That wasn't the outcome of the investigation. So how do you, aside from that, how do you prove intent that Joe Biden, I'm not deflecting, you deflected. I'm bringing it right back to where we were. You deflected, I'm bringing it back. How do you show that Joe Biden had intent to retain these documents? What would illustrate that he had intent? Because he turned them over. He's the one that called the DOJ when they found out he had them. They turned him over. They allowed to search. He worked with investigators to make sure the documents were returned. In what way does that illustrate intent?
Yeah, I think the outcome of the investigation was that he was not mentally there to understand.
Okay, so if that was the case, then there could be no intent that could be created because he doesn't have the mental capacity, right?
Sure. So if he
doesn't, that's actually not what
that's
actually not what it said, by the way.
If he doesn't have the mental capacity to remember that he has the documents or know that he has the documents, I mean,
so no, they didn't find any evidence that he knew he had them.
How do you not know what's in your house? I think that's a crazy argument.
Because Joe Biden is going to come into contact with tens of thousands of documents throughout the course of his presidency, and the documents that were found in boxes that had hundreds of other documents in them. So,
are you saying that?
But again, it doesn't matter what you say. Oh, how does he? That doesn't matter. You have to prove that he knew he had them. That's how the law works. Intent, criminal intent.
Okay, so semantics aside, I mean,
semantics aside, elements of the crime.
Okay. All right. Have a good night, clowns.
You just got wrecked.
No, it's not wrecked.
You just got wrecked. Just go. Everyone here sees it. Yeah, I know. You got wrecked. You didn't read the report. Just got destroyed.